Hi ladies! This week we are talking about part 2 of Paper Towns, which is a heck of a long section, and I'm not quite sure why we didn't divide it up a little bit more judiciously, but it's a little late for that now. So, like I said before, when I first read Paper Towns, it was my least favorite of John's first 3 books, which doesn't mean that I didn't like it, just that I liked Looking for Alaska and An Abundance of Catherines more. But I am really liking Paper Towns, reading it through this time. When I read Paper Towns for the first time, I was a very new nerd fighter. I'd only been a nerd fighter for about 5 months. And I really liked the idea of imagining people and things complexly when I read the book the first time. But I think that's something that you come to understand and appreciate more the more you practice it. And so here I am 4 years later, and I really try very hard to imagine people and situations complexly all the time. And I don't always succeed, but that's always my goal. I really love that, John and Hank focus on that a lot, and then that's such a big part of how we identify ourselves as nerd fighters, as people who try to imagine things complexly. And I think that's very important, and I try to do that as much as I possibly can. And so reading this book again and seeing how that's such a focus of this book. I mean, it's kind of a focus in John's other books too, just because John is John, but it's so much a part of Paper Towns. And it was just really enjoyable to go back through and read that. I think imagining people complexly is so important. Whether there's a YouTuber that you really like and they film a lot of their life and they make a lot of videos and they put themselves out there on Twitter and Tumblr and things, you have to realize that you don't know that person. Just because they chose to show you all these aspects of their life, which may seem like a huge part of their life and may be a very large percentage of their life on display, you still don't know them. There are parts of themselves that they choose not to show on camera or, to discuss online or whatever, and you have to be aware that you don't know that person for real. Or, there are just all kinds of other situations. Every time John and Hank talk about some kind of world political situation and they explain it and we all go, oh my gosh, now it makes sense, blah, 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 Egypt and North Korea and all of those things, John and Hank always try very hard to present all of the points of view, even if they have, a very strong opinion and they think that one side is right or wrong. They try to present all the points of view and say, this is why these people that I don't agree with believe what they believe, and it's valid, I just don't agree with it. And I find myself imagining things complexly a lot, because I wear this bracelet that I made. It says DFTBA on one side. I don't know if you can see that. And then on the other side it says complexly. And I wear this to work like all the time, and my kids always ask me what it means. The older kids are like, what does DFTBA spell? And so I explain don't forget to be awesome. And then they want to know why it says complexly. And so usually I have to explain what the word complex means. But then I say something along the lines of like, okay, say that I come home from work and I see my sister and I say, hi, how's it going? And she just grouches at me and she says, go away. I could either choose to be like, well, she's a jerk, I'm not going to talk to her for the rest of the night. Or I could be like, okay, she doesn't usually react to me that way. I wonder if something is bothering her. And so I can wait a little bit, leave her alone for a bit, and then come back and say, hey, is something bothering you? And maybe I can help her feel better or come up with a solution to her problem or whatever. And so that's how I usually explain imagining things complexly to my kids. I don't know if that's an adequate way to explain it, but I hope so. But just seeing Q go through the transformation of, he sees Margot in this very static way, even though there's all this mystery and things you don't know, things that he doesn't know about her, and he knows her from when they were little and things. He still sees her in this very static way as like this mysterious, being who controls the whole high school and whatever. And Lacey sees her in this static way, and Ben and Radar, even though they don't know her, they have this impression of her. And Q realizes that they're all seeing the Margot they want to see, and her sister sees the Margot that she sees and her parents see the Margot that they see. And so he starts to realize that there are all these different facets of Margot, and then there's probably a Margot that, you know, she never shows to the world. So I still think Margot is really obnoxious and full of herself, and I kind of don't like her as a character. But I do like her as an idea, which I'm pretty sure is something that Q says at some point, that he really likes the idea of Margot. But I like, you know, I like what she stands for, you know, and how there are all these different ways to invent yourself, and, you know, you have to really imagine somebody complexly in order to get the whole picture of them. There was a time in my life where I really felt like I had the me that I was at home, and then the me that I was at college, and then the me that I was among my really good friends who generally were not the friends I had at college. And one of the things that really helped me come out of that and just be me with just about anybody was, you know, LeakyCon and Nerdfighteria and all of the nerdy fandom-y things that I'm involved in have really helped me to grow into that person. And there are things that, you know, I don't talk about so much at work, or things that I don't talk about so much with certain friends, but I'm more myself. Everybody knows that I'm nerdy. I'm like the Harry Potter teacher at school, and, you know, all of that. So I don't hide those things like I used to. All my college friends know about my nerdiness now, which I used to try to hide from them. So I think I'm rambling here, and I feel like I've probably been talking for too long, since I'm a terrible judge of that. But yeah, imagining people complexly. I love it, and I hope you love it, and I hope you try to do it, because it's really, really important. That's the only way that we're all going to survive in the world, is if we try to imagine everybody else complexly. I look forward to everybody's videos this week. Hopefully going to see some more videos this week from people who've been forgetting. I love you guys. I know it's hard. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.